right now, honestly.
Might as well just get into it now. So I'll start with it. I'll start with this. I really wanted Bogaerts to just, be the I don't know,
Be
for lack of a
the
better word,
captain.
be the
right?
captain. Everyone wants to call him the captain of the team, but
Agreed.
but at the end of the day, captains are supposed to make sacrifices if it means the betterment of the roster. Like, he's just too much like Jeter.
Seriously.
Ultimately,
it's such a great comparison for him. It's kind of sad.
It's just the way where I look at Bogaerts is I think his glove is like when he gets to the ball, he doesn't make a lot of errors. I know I think I undersell the importance of not making errors because obviously errors, they're bad, but there's a lot of plays that guys make that Bogaerts doesn't. It's just like I think he's a below average shortstop. His range is terrible. I think his arm is very accurate.
He has glacial range. I mean, moving left or right, I think I might be able to do better. And for people watching on YouTube, you can see me right now. I think I may have better range at times. Exactly. I mean, you're talking to maybe the two unathletic dudes that have appeared on this show most often. Like, it's shocking to me as somebody who loves Xander. I mean, he's the one Red Sox jersey I have right now hanging up right around there, somewhere around there for me. But it's really sad because I'm with you. I was totally expecting him to move over to second base, especially when you get somebody the caliber of Story coming in. And by all accounts, he did recruit him. He did have a massive impact on saying like, "Hey, you got to come here. Like, we want you." Part of me had really hoped that you could split up the defensive tandem on the left side of the infield of Bogaerts and Devers, move Bogaerts over to second base, and then give him a nice fat contract for his trouble of moving. But clearly that's just not the case.
Yeah, I was willing. I mean, obviously, I say I was willing, like I have any say in what the Red Sox do. But I would have been willing to give Xander Bogaerts a shortstop style contract to play second base. Like,
same.
Ultimately,
Totally.
like you said, for his troubles, and he's played on a bargain the last 4 years. He's played $20 million a year. He's better than that. He's at least like a $27 to $29 million a year kind of player just for his offense alone. I looked at his metrics on the second base side of the bag. He is a +3 in outs above average over the course of the duration of that statistic for the infield. It goes back to 2016. On the shortstop side of second base, it's like negative 17 or 18. It is not good. Like he is a second base. He should be playing second base.
He should. Absolutely.
His range is bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, in my opinion, is that if this was such a deal breaker that Bogaerts may have been like, you know what, screw it, I'm done. Like, I don't want to deal with this if I have to go move to second base. I mean, you are trading a lot if you're giving up what he does in the regular season, which is 25 to even 30 home runs. I think was his peak, right? Something like that. I think
he's hit 30. I think he hit 30 in 2018 and 19. He went 30 and 100.
So there you go. Yeah, and I think that he's good for 100 RBIs, 110 RBIs. And 160 to 170 hits a year, and he's the anchor of your lineup. He is the guy that's sitting in the 3-hole most often behind Devers, protecting him, and then you got JD following up. But I think at this point, you know what, deal with it for a year, address it when it comes up in the offseason, because by all accounts he is going to opt out. We know he's a Scott Boras client, which does factor into it. It's why we were
said he's opting out.
It's why we were so surprised he signed the deal that he did when he did, to be honest with you. I thought that he was going to milk the Red Sox for every penny, because that's what Scott Boras is known for. That's his playbook. And he signed a team-friendly deal, and I was like, what? What was that? Are you kidding me? So he's definitely not going to go the team-friendly route this round. I mean, I want him back. I don't know about you. The question is, does he want to come back if he has to play second base, I guess, right?
Yeah, I want Xander back, but here, this is my take, and I think I quote tweeted, was it James Stewart from 98.5? I quote tweeted him, yeah, because he, I hate the business side of baseball, because if they sign Trevor Story, it must mean that Xander Bogaerts is out the door, and everyone's echoing this. I think it's stupid to do that at this point, but ultimately, what it comes down to is this. If Xander Bogaerts is unwilling to convert to second base, he is not deserving of a massive extension. He just isn't. Aging into his mid to late 30s, when his range is already bad, he's going to lose a step on the other side of 30. Everyone does. I mean, some people are just so proficient that that them losing a step is still very damn good. They're still sick. But Bogaerts already has bad range. It's going to get worse as he ages. If he's not willing to convert to second base, then I don't want him back on a massive extension. I'd give him maybe 3-4 years, maybe $110 million for 4 years, but I wouldn't give him a massive extension to play shortstop. He's not a shortstop.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is he 29 or 30 right now? 29?
I think he turns 30 in, I want to say, August.
Okay,
September.
So that's exactly what I thought he was, somewhere in between 29 and 30. I think in a perfect world, 6 for 180 is, because you know what? Guess what? That is a shortstop type of contract. He's done right by the organization. He's one of those guys that you would like to have as a career Red Sox, but I think that if you're going to go and give him that money, it has to be with the understanding that he's going over to second base. Or maybe, even if you want to extend it, let's say that the experiment this year with Story at second isn't terrible. It's like serviceable. You can deal with it another season with Devers. And then when JD leaves, inevitably, you maybe move Devers over to DH. You keep Bogaerts at short for maybe 2 of those 6 years. And then the last 4, when Story is still there, that's when you go and you make him the primary shortstop. You move Bogaerts over to second, or you can make him DH. Devers can go to third. There are a lot of moving pieces, but the point being, you can never have too many good players. And Bogaerts is absolutely one of them. I mean, people are like, okay, you got a logjam because you got Dahlbeck already up here. Cassis is coming up. You got, I guess Mayer technically is on the fringe of being in that kind of core group on the infield. And in my opinion, you can make it work. Nick York as well, great point. You can make it work. You can never have too many good players. And Bogaerts has been here his entire career. You know that he does love the city. You should do whatever you can to get him back. I just can't see him playing shortstop at 36 for the Red Sox. Like that type of age. It's not feasible. It just isn't.
Barely can see him doing it at 29. But I don't want to I don't want to sell him short. He's looked great this spring defensively. I will give him that. And he was great in the second half of last season. I just don't think he can sustain that for 162. Last year he was great in the second half defensively, but his offense took a massive hit. So it's like, I'd rather have the Bogaerts that hits, with a 130 to 140 WRC plus and not good defense versus Bogaerts that's, a +5 defensive run saved shortstop, which he was in the second half, to his credit, with like a 110. I don't think Xander Bogaerts at that level, at that offensive production, is worth $30 million. I want the guy who can hit. Like I would be willing to go.
And he's not a proven postseason performer as well. We got to add that on there.
No, he isn't.
He hasn't shown up in the playoffs.
Yes, he has. If the people I've been arguing with on Twitter are watching / listening, Xander Bogaerts has 2 World Series rings. He has been, outside of this past season where he completely disappeared in the ALCS after that home run off Greinke, by the way. I mean, everyone did, so I don't want to single him out.
True.
He's not been a good hitter in the postseason.
He's been a passenger, is what he's been.
Yes, he has been. He's had his moments. I don't want to say he's not been productive at all. Like his walk in the 2013 ALCS. Biggest at bat, probably outside of the Grand Slams.
He hit the home run off of Garrett Cole in the first inning of this last wild card game.
He hit the home run off Garrett Cole. He hit a home run against Shane Baz in the ALDS. I don't want to say he's not had his moments, but he in the postseason overall, his whole body of work is not impressive. He has 2 rings, but it's been, even to an extent, like Mookie was the same way. He was great in the regular season.
Other
in the
guys step
postseason,
up.
he didn't do very well.
Totally agree.
Which is, you win World Series like that. Your stars aren't going to carry you all the way through to the finish line. You need those, like the Steve Pearces of the world, the Kike Hernandezes of the world to push you through the finish line. And that happened in 2018. Didn't happen last year. But anyway, if Bogaerts is, stubborn and doesn't want to move off of shortstop, I'd bump his pay a little bit, more to convince him. But I'm not going. I don't think a second baseman's worth $30 million. They're too replaceable.
I don't think Story at second base is worth $23 million. I just think second basemen are a dime a dozen. So you don't want to be
Marcus Semien.
Marcus
Semien just had one of the best seasons for a second baseman in MLB history offensively. He had 40-something home runs. He was unbelievable. In my opinion, given the fact when you're talking about well-rounded players. Like Vlad, obviously the best player on the Blue Jays, but in terms of completeness, Marcus Semien was the best player on Toronto last year. And he only got 7 for 175. I'd give Bogaerts 7 for, 200. It's like 27.
Yeah, I said 6 for 180, which is 30 even. Like I would go up to that. I think that would be the upper limit.